Ladies and gentlemen, this is not satire and this is not a prediction. I'd like my viewers and I'd like the country. Since, I could get 3,000 views on this or 300,000 views. So I would like the world to know that Democrats and the institutions they influence could indict Trump simply to ensure that a trial would derail his candidacy in 2024. That's what they're capable of doing. They utilized a Steele dossier purchased by his direct political rival to investigate an incoming president. Okay? They then said gossip and hearsay from a meeting was enough between Alexander Downer and George Papadopoulos when exculpatory evidence was withheld from the court. And by the way, I'll be doing a Durham Probe segment later today. The Durham Probe is very important. It did not face a monumental loss with the acquittal of Sussman. And actually, from the testimony of Robbie Mook and Mark Elias, that was a huge victory for the Durham Probe Special Counsel. I've explained that before, but I'll explain that later on today. But they're capable of anything. They utilized, the Bureau had media contacts that they shouldn't have had, agents. You had people withholding exculpatory evidence, or, in the case of Kevin Kleinsmith, actually falsifying information and giving it to a FISA judge to prolong investigations. You have loyalists, okay? You have people who, this is not just my viewpoint, you had a bureau attorney plead guilty to falsifying information and giving it to a FISA judge. You had a Steele dossier where James Comey says, well, he doesn't know if Clinton actually purchased it. Meanwhile, the Clinton campaign and the DNC paid an FEC fines for purchasing the Steele dossier. What I'm trying to tell you is, do not be surprised. It'll shock even me, and it won't be good for the country, but they don't care. Do you understand? Trump is like Freddy Krueger. He inhabits their dreams, and he is their living nightmare. He's the orange Julius Caesar who is the embodiment of everything they find grotesque. A good economy, great economy, record low unemployment without 8 to 9% inflation and a contracting GDP. With Trump, we had, inflation at 2%? And gas prices less than $3? Now you have diesel prices approaching $6, which will lead to a prolonged recession. 2 quarters of negative growth is a recession. Tell me how we're going to have positive growth in the third quarter with oil prices going up and with no more oil refineries being built and diesel prices going up. You have cargo ships, trucks, industries like construction, agriculture, everything, UPS, when you go ahead and buy something on Amazon, everything, the commerce within this country runs on diesel fuel, okay? From cargo ships to trucks to everything you get in the supermarket. The diesel fuel alone is just one indicator leading to massive layoffs and hedge funds going under. And by the way, watch that segment. 8 months ago, I called and predicted this economic decline and the stock market crash. But see, again, it's not hit subscribe to this channel, the stock market crash channel, and the Bitcoin crash channel below. I called the crypto crash, the stock market crash in September of 2021, and I was published in the Federalist explaining why Democrats, or how Democrats will push us towards a stock market crash, and we're seeing it right now. But see, that ties into why this is a serious issue. It's not something to just be overlooked. I'm probably the only person who supports President Trump who understands that he could be indicted even though he's innocent of any crime. Or I should say, I'm one of the few people on YouTube talking about this from the perspective of someone who voted for Trump. When I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I used to be the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. They cheated Bernie Sanders. That's why the Kremlin hacked the DNC emails to inform the world that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus forcing Debbie Wasserman Schultz and 4 other DNC officials to resign. Doesn't that make sense? Isn't that perfectly logical? For an absolute lunatic, maybe, but that is the Democratic Party. They cloak and camouflage all their corruption into a plot by another country. Hunter's emails showing clear criminal and corrupt activities. Like, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company? And then he's on tape. The Washington Examiner broke that story, stating, "Oh yeah, Joe talks about exactly what he finds important." And so, I mean, we can go on and on. I mean, there's 10% for the big man. He gives 10% of his. It's right there. And they're slowly investigating. What Democrats do is they investigate, but you're going to have House Republicans investigate Hunter, investigate Joe, impeach Joe numerous times. They're going to need a home run. They didn't get that home run with Mueller. The Mueller probe did nothing but set them back. They couldn't get Trump on the Mueller probe, so they might try and just indict him and see, like, just derail his campaign. They couldn't get him on his tax returns. They couldn't get him on the recent panel with Liz Cheney and Kinzinger. You're looking at a catastrophic House and Senate defeat. We're going into a recession, possibly prolonged, more than just 2 quarters. We could be flirting with an economic depression. So you can disregard this and say, "Oh, here we go. I'm not predicting this. I'm trying to say this could happen. I am thinking outside of the box. Read the entire title." For people, "I don't like your title." Well, you didn't read the entire title. Read the entire title. It's something that could possibly happen, and I think that Democrats, they're capable of anything politically. They have everyone from Jimmy Kimmel to Saturday Night Live to, let's see, look. You ask if there's anyone walking into any of the publications or cable stations that I'm about to mention with the Make America Great Again hat. Anyone who voted for Trump. Is there anyone who voted for Trump at the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, the New Yorker, the Atlantic, Rolling Stone, Esquire, Vanity Fair, Mother Jones, The Nation, Daily Beast? Is there anyone? Like, I just named, 10 publications, cable stations, Los Angeles Times. Is there any person? You're talking about thousands probably of people employed in the places that I just mentioned. Is there anyone? Maybe... Is there anybody in these publications or corporations or, this media monstrosity that voted for Trump or would vote for DeSantis? How about no? Almost certainly not. Maybe, and if there are people, because probably there are, okay, not the writers, but maybe other people within the corporation, they're not talking about it. The day that anyone in those companies that I just mentioned state that they're going to vote for Trump is the last day they'll be working there. This is an obsession. You have to understand, there are people who look at Wikipedia and look at the New York Times and look at the Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC and say, this is objective. Yeah. Trump committed a crime, lots of crimes. They can't really name one. And if they utilize the same standard of judgment and condemnation against their own political side, Hunter, Hillary, Joe, because there are emails there, top secret intelligence on private servers, and Comey went to bat and said, "No, there was no intent. We don't want to charge." If Trump had top secret intelligence on servers for 4 years, he would have been indicted and he would have been convicted. Because that's not a difficult thing to prove in a court of law. How do you transfer top secret and special access program intelligence from secure government locations onto servers running outside of the United States government? Maybe Comey knows. Who knows? Or Strzok or McCabe or Clapper or Brennan. How is that possible? But see, again, I want a Hillary Trump 2024 or Hillary DeSantis 2024. And if Clinton runs again, both Bill and Hillary are probably pushing some way to get him indicted. And the Democratic Party is pushing. Everyone wants it because they think that it'll derail his campaign. Now, how much it derails his campaign, who knows? It could have I think it'll have the opposite effect. I would still vote for Trump because I know that they're just trying to indict him, even though they know they can't. They don't have a crime. You don't just find a crime 2 years after he leaves. It's purely political and the antithesis of the rule of law, my God almighty. But they want to indict him so bad. They just want to. They need it. These people disowned friends and family. These are good, highly intelligent, wonderful people who are beautiful human beings, but they have a character flaw. And their character flaw is that they've convinced themselves, because they're so, into these, this tribalism, this, they've convinced themselves they're on the side of truth and justice. They've jettisoned God, religion, and their new religion is politics. And so they think that Trump is the Antichrist. They think he's he's the devil. And they truly believe he is the worst person to ever live, even though he allocated more funding to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever, signed an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses, signed the Doha, reversed U.S. foreign policy, terrible Lincoln project, Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld foreign policy got us into never-ending counterinsurgency quagmires, and he negotiated the Doha agreement that Biden botched. Those 13 Americans and those 100-plus Afghans should be alive today. Trump negotiated the Abraham Accords, first president to step foot in North Korea. We had to begin détente, a true détente between North and South Korea. We had hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs under Trump. We had a growing economy. Real wages were up. Real wages are down now. Everything's down now. But you have to understand, they're okay with that. They don't care. There could be, God forbid, ICBMs flying above. The earth could open up. Inflation could be at 20%. They could look at their 401k on their phone. Oh, it's down to zero. A bee could sting them, a bumblebee or a wasp could sting them. What else? Lightning could strike and hit them. Maybe they'll say, at least Trump isn't tweeting. That's what they'll be. They'll be like, you know what? It's still a good day because Trump is not in office and he can't harm democracy. Donald Trump, their creation of their caricature of who they think Trump is, who they've convinced themselves Trump is. It's not Trump. The media and the theatrical, the performance art that they've utilized to justify despising Trump so much when they would have embraced his rear end 10 years ago if they met him. These are the same people who watched The Apprentice for 10 years, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But the monster that they've created is now creeped and entered their soul, their spirit, their minds. And they will not stop. I don't think with an economy plunging into a recession and Republicans taking over the House and Senate and Trump rebounding and gaining more steam and more support along with DeSantis every single day, and with Democrats failing at everything they do to try to take him down, I think they have enough. I'm not predicting anything. Again, I think they have enough influence, enough pull within the Justice Department to find a crime, accuse him, and they can indict him. Well, what did he do? He kept saying things he knew wasn't true, which violates this legal statute in addition to pressuring people. And they'll find something. He made money from this endeavor as well, which is also against the law. He fundraised off of this, which is also against the law. They'll find something. Anyway, they could find something. I hope it doesn't happen because it would be terrible for the country. But it would be the antithesis of the rule of law, and it would be the Democratic Party yet again trying some way to desperately hold on to political power and influence at the expense of accusing an innocent man of something he didn't do for the second time in 6 years. Trump never was installed by the Kremlin. You'd have to be a complete imbecile to believe this. But about half the electorate, even the Democrat, most Democrats with functioning brain cells don't believe it. But there are some people who are like, yeah, I really think that he was installed by the Kremlin because those Facebook ads were, and then the DNC emails because they cheated Bernie Sanders, and then the Kremlin wanted us to know that. So that never happened. Trump was innocent of that. And so I don't think that they'll be, reticent about pushing for an indictment or indicting Trump, knowing that they really would lose the trial, but benefit from the media coverage. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Hit subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash channel right now. Thank you so very, very